You are listening and watching to a very special podcast. Alright, you guys. I have more on Briar Devlin's point of view, so stay tuned for more. Okay. Alright, here we go. Briar and her new allies were walking about in this big place. They managed to almost get there to the glass building of Evermore. However, Briar stopped when she saw a vision of someone coming. There was a pretty little butterfly fluttering, and a little girl with dark skin was chasing after it happily. Briar and the others watched her, but Briar began smiling in content. Look at her. She feels so free from the world. What a blessing. She must have not worried so much about how life can be so cruel and can only see the pretty things, she thought to herself. The child giggled and chased the pretty butterfly, but that happy moment was about to change. For Briar had another vision. Men in black, wearing ski masks. They looked like something from the army. They had loaded with guns. The child was too busy chasing the butterfly to notice anything. Still giggling and still happy, however, the men pulled out their guns, pointed at the child, and then opened fire. Briar and the others were shocked to see this. Briar began to tremble with fear. She was so scared she could feel her heart beat. She could almost have the horrible memories of her 12 best friends killed. Briar began to hyperveil. However, the gunmen soon pointed their weapons at Briar and shot at her. But Briar didn't fall or anything. She was still breathing. Multiple gun wounds were there, but then the bullets began to pluck out and fall to the ground. All of them. The wounds across her body began to fade, but Briar's eyes were filled with rage. The gunmen could not believe this, and they were about to run away, but Briar screamed at them. "Oh no, you're not getting away from me that easily!" She unleashed her telekinetic powers. Her rage and her powers were all combined in a chaotic fury as she went after the men, breaking their limbs but not killing them. This sort of commotion began to attract attention, and others thought maybe it might have been some sort of explosion, but when they saw that it was Briar, they were in complete shock. Once it was all over and the soldiers were groaning in pain of their crippling limbs, begging for mercy, Briar looked over at the dead child that was shot. She picked up the body of it and looked at the little girl's face. She looked like she was 7 or 9 years old, but on her face it looked like some sort of sense of peace there. She looked like she died with a smile on her face. That made Briar cry. She went over to the cool ground and she began to dig. She didn't have to dig deep enough. She put the corpse in. Then she buried the body. Then she plucked a flower from the ground and placed it on the grave. She just knelt it to the grave of the dead child with no name. Poor Briar, she was so wrecked over it. However, she felt a hand on her shoulder. She looked up to see a tall man looking down at her with regret. "I'm sorry," he said. "For what?" Briar asked. "I didn't know this kid was special to you," said the tall man. Briar shook her head. "I didn't know this kid, but she was just chasing a butterfly. She was just a little kid. Why would they shoot her?" She couldn't help but cry again. Briar was really upset. However, she discovered memories of this tall man. She discovered his name was Isao Kondo, captain of Shinsengumi. Captain Kondo was amazed. However, Briar managed to focus on the building of Evermore, and everyone went inside. Once they were in, they found a sign right next to this big door that said, "Follow me." Briar and the others went inside, and what they saw was just a big empty space. But at the end of the room, there was a man meditating on a mat. "Hello?" Briar called. No one answered. Briar walked further with the others following. Briar looked over at the man meditating. He seemed tall, yet she wasn't sure, but not too tall. More like an average height. He was just meditating there. He hadn't flinched. He looked middle-aged. Excuse me?" Briar said. "Tracks," said the man. Briar looked confused. "I'm sorry?" she asked. "Tracks. You left dirt," he said, pointing to the trail of footprints. Briar felt bad. "Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you want us to maybe clean it up and take off our shoes?" she asked. The man shook his head. "No, it's all right." Suddenly, some sort of automatic device that began to vacuum the dirt on the clear ground. The young man introduced himself as Alem Favian, but he wasn't the one that brought them all here. He explained that a young lady known as Sylver Eden had brought them here. Suddenly, he turned to the door and called for the person to enter. There was a young lady who was about petite but shy who entered. This young girl was Sylver Eden. She introduced herself timidly, but she managed to remain confident as she explained about a certain device, a memory device with good, bad, and traumatizing memories. This device was known as the MPD, and she explained some rules. The agents such as Briar, Tilda, Maggie, Chloe, Randy, Marina, they were all joined together to become agents. But there was some bad news. Nobody from the other world should come with them on their missions. But on the bright side, it can watch from the MPD to track every single move that Briar and the others do in the other worlds. Sylver explained that this world that they're in is known as Doppelwalker City. She explained that this is somewhat similar to the place that Briar was from, but a lot more nicer and a lot more different. She also said that there are other worlds out there. However, she decided to let the others rest after an exhausting time that happened. While the others were trying to rest up and try to remember every single thing that Sylver had explained and processing it, suddenly Briar noticed that there was a ship in the sky and it was about to fall down. Briar was so shocked that she rushed out there and she found herself gliding in the air. She was too busy to worry about that. She managed to save the ship using her telekinesis and carefully bringing this ship down and down. Once she managed to do that, with a little complications, Briar is face to face with a bunch of guys. Angus, Cassander, Jackson, Hermes, and more of their friends. Angus and the others were really shocked to see that a young lady would do such things. Briar and the other agents became acquainted with the newcomers, but there was some trouble ahead in these other worlds. Alright, this is over, but don't worry, there's more coming your way. I'm Catherine Donovan, and I'll see you next time.